Bill Muse, Connors State College.
Yes, sir, Coach. Heck of a run last year, reaching the national championship. We're honored to be here. Looking forward to what you continue to do with this program. Obviously, very reputable. You're bringing in some guys, some new faces, but also a culture that continues to stick with you. Who are a few newcomers or returners that four-year program should keep an eye on here for the Cowboys this year?
Well, for newcomers coming in that are new to our program, I would say we have Peter Cruz out of New Jersey, 6'8", 6'9" player, left-handed. He's got a really bright future. We've got Marcus Britt Jr. out of Forest City, Arkansas.
Coach, you have a few returners, your new faces you just mentioned. What's one of the biggest strengths you see into this new 25-26 region for your Cowboys?
Well, I think we got experience. Going to the national tournament, finishing up like we did, playing for a national championship. We were about 9 points short of winning one. Had a really heck of a year, and we've got 3 starters back from last year's team, so we're excited about those 3 guys. And if we plug in some of these new guys, we think we'll be pretty good again.
Yes, sir. And it's 34 years and counting, is that right?
Exactly.
2 appearances to the national tournament or championship.
Yeah.
You've been at Connors State for more than 3 decades, with over 803 wins and 265 losses, and 2014 NJCAA Hall of Fame inductee. What keeps you motivated year after year?
I think I love the game. These kids keep me motivated. I really like to see the success that they have. I think you find the level you want to coach at. And for me, it ended up being junior college. I'd spent 11 years in Division I, wanted a head coaching job and fell in love with it and could control my own destiny. And I could help so many more kids. At a junior college, you get twice as many kids as you do a 4-year, even though that's changing every single year with roster changes now and NIL and portal. But with all that being said, I think it just was a perfect fit at the junior college level. And we worked so hard to develop our program, there wasn't really any need to leave. So I just stayed on. I started as a head coach there, then became athletic director. I've been athletic director for 23 years now, so it's all worked out pretty well.
Yes, sir. You mentioned helping young men. Obviously, it's more than basketball, but you've been very credible in winning championships. Over 8 Bi-State East championships, 9 OCAC regular season championships, 12 NJCAA Region 2 championships, 13 NJCAA national tournament appearances. Which championship team stands out to you most and why?
Well, I think probably going to the national championship game. I mean, we've been to 5 Final Fours, but actually playing in the national championship game was really a big deal. And we played on ESPN more than anybody in the country the last 2 years. We've been on ESPN 9 times the last 2 years, including ESPNU for the championship game. So, I think that team alone. And then when I look back on former teams, the competition was a little bit different when I first got into it 34 years ago. My very first team, we had 5 high major players, and 2 went to Missouri, West Virginia, Stanford. We were sending them all over the country, and the level has gone down a little bit, but I still think last year's team probably achieved more than any team I've ever had.
Yes, sir. You have a reputation for not only winning championships, but also sending guys to the next level. Edwin Daniel, just to name one, going to LaSalle this year from runner-up there. We look at the talent Connors State provides year after year, and it's in between the lines. But what type of men are these college coaches receiving when they do look at Connors State basketball?
Well, we try to make sure that these guys are well-rounded by the time they get there. I run a junior college program just like I did when I was an assistant in Division I, and I learned from some really good head coaches. I learned Cliff Ellis was my mentor, to be honest about it. He started me when he was at South Alabama, and then I worked for him for a couple of years at Clemson. And so we try to run the program exactly the same with discipline, as far as making sure that these guys graduate. Back in the day, they couldn't go Division I unless they graduated. Now you can get around that rule pretty easily. They've lowered the standards coming out of high school. But back then, they all had to graduate, and that was our goal. We wanted to graduate every single one of our players, and last year we did the same thing. We had 100% graduation of all our sophomores, so seeing them graduate, and a lot of times we get players that are first-time graduates their family has never graduated from a college. So we get these first-time graduates, and it's really a big deal for them.
Yes, sir. And obviously, as you continue to build Connor State's culture year after year, you're talking about values outside of basketball. Is there anything that you preach day in and day out about the type of discipline these young men should have?
We talk every single day about education. I mean, making sure that they're, not just going to class, okay, but they're achieving something in the class when they go. And, discipline, of course, taking care of their business off the court, making sure that they're good citizens. And we try to mold them that when they finish up at Connor State, that they're not only going to be, good student athletes, but eventually they're going to be good fathers, good husbands, okay, and be a tribute to our society.
Yes, sir. And as we move forward to the 25-26 season, looking at this year's roster, who do you think has a chance to make the jump?
Well, we got a kid out of Omaha, Kevin Stubblefield, played really well last year. He's a sophomore now and 6'3" wing. I think he's got a chance to make a good move. Ethan Dietz, a 6'8" inside player. He's reformed his body over the summertime. He's lost a few pounds, but he's achieved a lot of muscle in those pounds, and he's made a big jump over the 3 months of the summertime. And I saw it coming during spring as well. And we've got a good shooter in Eric Wall's coming back. We've got a lot of pieces together. I mean, some of the newcomers, Lee coming in, hopefully play the point for us, and he's a transfer from California Junior College. I think he'll be a surprise to some people, and so I think when you put all that together, that we got several people that a lot of colleges should be very interested in.
Yes, sir. And not too many people know that you guys, without a doubt, had the strongest run into the national tournament championship last year in the tournament. Can you kind of expand on what that meant to you to see your team overcome adversity after adversity?
Well, we went through adversity during the course of the year when I lost my wife, but this team just bonded together, and our first game was difficult. We got through that, and then of course DJ Dormew hit the shot heard around the world. I mean, he knocked off the #1 team in the country in snow, but it just kept on going from there. We ended up playing Daytona Beach, who had a really good team, but we beat them, turned around, beat South Plains in the Final Four. Now we're sitting in there playing against Trinity Valley for a national championship. So, it was exciting to see. We had a lot of great chemistry. We only had 2 guys off that team go to Division I. Dormew went to Tarleton State, and Daniels went to LaSalle. So that tells you the kind of chemistry. We were playing against teams that had 7 or 8 guys that come into Division I, and we only had 2. But it just, they bonded together. They really had great chemistry.
Yes, sir. You run a unique situation there at Connor State. In fact, not that I know, there's not very many other father-son duos that you guys have there for the Cowboys. What does that mean to you? Obviously, it's been 6 or 7 years you've been coaching with your son. You got to coach him, there at Connors as well. But what does that mean to you to be, your sidekick there and your son?
Yeah, I'm really proud of him. I mean, he's the one that really saved our program last year. We went through all this adversity, and he works as hard as anybody in the country at all phases of the game. It's only me and him. So in junior college, it's not like you have a huge support staff. And you have 2 people that have to do everything from scouting and weights and promotions and fundraising and study hall and tutors and all that. And he carries the load for that, and he does a great job. Of course, he played for me for 2 years, and he went to Coastal Carolina and played a grad transfer for Jay Ladner at Southern Miss, and he just understands the game and going to be a great head coach one day.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Muse, I appreciate your time. Looking forward to the new season you have. Once again, we thank you, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you very much for this.